Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
Why are there two China today? This is a question many people ask. There is a large country called China and a smaller island called Taiwan. The government of the big country calls itself the People's Republic of China, or PRC. The government on the island calls itself the Republic of China, or ROC. Both governments say they are the real China. This situation comes from a long history. For many years, one government ruled China. The old rulers were kings. About 100 years ago, the system with kings finished. A new country started, the Republic of China. An important leader was Sun Yat-sen. His group was the KMT. The new country had problems. Later, another group started, the Communist Party. Led by Mao Zedong, they became strong. The KMT and the Communist Party fought each other. This fighting lasted many years. There was also a war with Japan. The KMT and Communists stopped fighting each other to fight Japan. After the war with Japan, the fight between the KMT and Communist Party started again. The Communist Party won on the mainland. Mao Zedong started the People's Republic of China in 1949. The KMT leaders, led by Chiang Kai-shek, went to the island of Taiwan. They took their government. On Taiwan, they said their government, the Republic of China, was still the real China government. So there were two governments, one on the mainland and one on Taiwan. Both said they were China. This made things difficult for other countries. Which government was the real China? At first, some countries said the government on Taiwan was China. The United Nations also agreed for a time. But later, things changed. More countries started talking to the PRC on the mainland. The United Nations said the PRC was the real China in 1971. Many countries changed who they talked to. They talked to the PRC. But Taiwan did not stop. It said it was the Republic of China. People on Taiwan started to feel different. They built their own life and country. Today, the PRC on the mainland is strong. It says Taiwan must join it. It says it might use its army. Taiwan does not want to join. Taiwan has its own government and people vote freely. Taiwan likes its freedom. The United States helps Taiwan. China sends its army ships and planes near Taiwan often. People worry about fighting. This story will explain this difficult situation more. 2. Old China ends. China had a very old way of ruling. Kings from the Qing family ruled for many years. But in late 1911, this old rule ended. People who wanted change started a revolution. A man named Sun Yat-sen was an important leader in this revolution. He was a doctor, but he worked for a new China. On January 1912, a new country started. It was called the Republic of China, or ROC. Sun Yat-sen became the first main leader for a short time. He also led a big political group called the Kuomintang, or KMT. This name means the Chinese Nationalist Party. The Republic of China was new, but it had many problems from the start. Different parts of China were controlled by military leaders called warlords. They did not listen to the new government. Also, other countries caused problems for China. Japan, for example, took some land. Later, in the 1920s, the KMT had a new leader. His name was Chiang Kai-shek. He led the KMT army to fight the warlords and bring parts of China together. For a short time, the KMT even worked with another group, the Communist Party of China, or CCP. They fought against the warlords together. But the KMT and the CCP did not agree on how China should be. They became enemies. In 1927, the fighting started between them. This was the start of a long war in China, the Chinese Civil War. The KMT government stayed in a city called Nanjing. The Communist Party, led by a man named Mao Zedong, moved to areas outside the cities. The war between the KMT and CCP went on for years. But then something big happened. Japan attacked China with a large army in 1937. This stopped the fighting between the KMT and the CCP for a while. They had to fight the Japanese army together. Two groups fight. After the Republic of China began, the KMT party was the main group. Sun Yat-sen was an important leader, and later Chiang Kai-shek led the KMT. Another group was the Communist Party. For a time, the KMT and the Communist Party worked together. They had a common goal, to make China stronger and fight against other groups in different parts of the country. But the two groups had very different ideas for China's future. They stopped being friends. Chiang Kai-shek became the leader of the KMT party. He did not like the Communist Party. In 1927, the KMT attacked the Communists in many cities. This was a very violent time. The Communist Party and their supporters had to go away to the countryside. This event started a long, big war between the KMT and the Communist Party. It is called the Chinese Civil War. The war went on for many years. The two sides fought many battles across China. Who controlled places changed often. Life for ordinary people in China was very hard because of this fighting. The KMT government tried to control all of China from its capital city, Nanjing. But the Communist Party was strong in other areas, far from the cities. Then a very big problem came from outside China. In 1937, the country of Japan started a big war against China. Japan wanted to take land in China. The Japanese army was strong. Fighting Japan became the most important thing for China. Because of this big danger, the KMT and the Communist Party stopped fighting each other for a time. They agreed to work together again, but only to fight the Japanese army. This war against Japan lasted for 8 long years, from 1937 to 1945. While they fought Japan, the KMT and Communist forces did not fight each other much. This time, fighting the Japanese army was a pause in their own conflict. But even during this time, trust between the KMT and the Communist Party was not strong. Both sides knew that once the war with Japan was over, their own fight for control of China might start again. The long war with Japan changed China a lot, but it did not solve the deep problem between the KMT and the Communist Party. 4. A new China and an island. The big war with Japan finally ended, but peace did not come to China. The two main groups, the KMT and the Communist Party, began fighting each other again. This was a long and hard civil war for control of the country. Chiang Kai-shek was the leader of the KMT. Mao Zedong was the leader of the Communist Party. The fighting went across the big land of China. Mao Zedong and his communist forces fought hard battles. They slowly won more land and gained support from millions of people. The KMT army, led by Chiang Kai-shek, lost ground. They could not stop the communist advance on the mainland. In the autumn of the year 1949, the Civil War ended on the mainland. The Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong, won. Mao Zedong stood in Beijing, the capital city. On October 1, 1949, he officially announced the start of a new country. He called it the People's Republic of China, or the PRC. This became the government for the large mainland area. Chiang Kai-shek and the KMT Party, and about 2 million soldiers and people who followed them, had to leave the mainland quickly. They went across the water, called the Taiwan Strait, to a big island. This island was Taiwan. They took their government with them. Chiang Kai-shek arrived on Taiwan on December 7, 1949. He set up the government of the Republic of China, or ROC, in the city of Taipei on the island. So, after this war, China was divided. There was the People's Republic of China, in control of the vast mainland, led by Mao Zedong, and there was the Republic of China on the island of Taiwan, led by Chiang Kai-shek. Both governments made a strong claim. The government in Beijing said it was the one and only true government of all of China. It said Taiwan was just a part of China that needed to join the mainland one day. But the government on Taiwan also said it was the one and only true government of all of China, including the mainland. They kept the name Republic of China and believed they were the real government for the whole country. This created a deep and confusing problem. There were now two governments ruling different lands, but both saying they were the government of China. This split started the difficult situation of two Chinas that continues even now. The big country on the mainland and the island were separate, with different systems, but they both claimed the same history and name. 5. The world changes sides. The world was in a period called the Cold War. This was a time when many countries were divided into two main sides, led by the United States and the Soviet Union. In this period, the question of which government was the real China was important. At first, many countries, especially those on the side of the United States, recognized the government on Taiwan Island as the Republic of China, the ROC. They saw this government, led by Chiang Kai-shek, as the true government of all China. The United States had a strong relationship with the ROC and even signed a treaty in 1954 to help Taiwan if it faced attack. For some years, the ROC government also held the important seat for China at the United Nations. However, over time, the world's view began to change. The People's Republic of China, on the mainland, was a very large country with many people. More countries started to think this government, led by Mao Zedong, should represent China internationally. This change became official at the United Nations in 1971. The countries in the UN General Assembly voted. They decided to give China's place at the UN to the PRC government in Beijing. The ROC government from Taiwan was no longer allowed to hold that seat. This was a major event that showed the world was changing its opinion. Following the UN's decision, many other countries around the world also decided to stop recognizing the ROC government in Taiwan. They began to have official diplomatic relations with the PRC government instead. A very important moment was when the United States changed its policy. In December 1978, the U.S. President Jimmy Carter announced that the USA would recognize the PRC as the only legal government of China. This change became official in January 1979. The USA ended its formal diplomatic ties with the ROC government on Taiwan. However, to keep supporting Taiwan, the U.S. Congress passed a special law, the Taiwan Relations Act. This law allowed the USA to continue important unofficial relations and sell defensive weapons to Taiwan. By the start of the 1980s, most countries in the world had switched. They now recognized the PRC in Beijing as China. Only a small number of countries still had official relations with the ROC on Taiwan. But even without wide international recognition, the government on Taiwan Island continued to rule itself and saw itself as a sovereign entity. The international situation around China had fundamentally changed. 6. Taiwan grows strong. Taiwan was an island where the KMT government ruled after coming from mainland China. For many years, there was strong control, like a one-party rule. But things started to change for Taiwan. Taiwan worked hard, and its economy grew very fast. This was called a manufacturing boom. Taiwanese companies built many factories. Taiwan made things like electronics and other goods that people around the world wanted to buy. Selling these things made Taiwan rich. Taiwanese businesses even started building factories on mainland China as China opened up its economy. One business became very important for Taiwan, making special parts for technology. These tiny parts are called semiconductors or chips. Chips are like the brain for computers, smartphones, cars, and many other things. A company in Taiwan called TSMC became the world leader in making the most advanced chips. Companies from many countries, like the United States, need TSMC's chips. Mainland China also needs many chips from Taiwan for its own industries. This made Taiwan a very important place in the world economy. People on the island sometimes call TSMC their sacred mountain because it is so important for Taiwan's safety and money. TSMC has also started to build some factories in other countries, like the US, but most of its work is still on the island. While the economy grew, Taiwan also changed how it was ruled. For a long time, it was not a full democracy. But in the late 1900s, the government started to allow more freedom. People could start new political groups. The government stopped martial law, which meant less strict control. Then people could vote in free elections to choose their leaders. Taiwan became a democracy. This was a big change and made Taiwan very different from mainland China, which is still ruled by one party. Because people on Taiwan could vote and had more freedom, they started to think more about their home, Taiwan. Many people were born on Taiwan and grew up there. They did not have the same history or life as people on the mainland. More and more people felt that they were Taiwanese people, not Chinese people from the mainland. Today, most people who live on the island say they are Taiwanese. Only a small number say they are only Chinese. This feeling of being Taiwanese became stronger as Taiwan became a democracy. Even though Taiwan became a democracy and people felt more Taiwanese, businesses between Taiwan and mainland China stayed very strong. Taiwanese companies invested a lot of money on the mainland. Taiwan sold many products to mainland China, and mainland China bought many things from Taiwan, especially chips. For many years, mainland China was Taiwan's biggest customer. They did a lot of business together, which helped both economies. Taiwan is now trying to trade more with other countries to be less dependent on mainland China, but the business ties are still very big. So, Taiwan became strong with a rich economy and a free government chosen by its people. The people on Taiwan felt they had their own identity. But living next to the large mainland still created a difficult situation for Taiwan's future. 7. Big problems today. Today, there are big problems for the world because of China and Taiwan. The big country, mainland China, is led by the government called the PRC. The PRC says that Taiwan must join it. It says, Taiwan is not a separate country. It is just an island that is part of China. The PRC government, led by Xi Jinping, says it wants Taiwan to join peacefully. But it also says it might use its army. If Taiwan does not agree or tries to be fully independent, the PRC says it can use force. China has a big army and many ships and planes. It shows its power often. Taiwan is the small island with the ROC government. Taiwan wants to stay as it is. It has its own government, elected by the people. People in Taiwan have free votes. They like their way of life. Most people on the island feel they are Taiwanese, not Chinese from the mainland. Taiwan does not want to join the PRC. Its leaders, like President Lai Ching-te, say they want peace. They want to keep things the way they are now. This is called the status quo. They say the people of Taiwan should decide their future. The United States is a big country that helps Taiwan. The USA sells weapons to Taiwan to help it defend itself. The USA also sends its Navy ships near Taiwan. But the USA does not say clearly if its army will fight for Taiwan if the PRC attacks. This is a special plan called strategic ambiguity. It means the USA is not fully clear. This makes both sides guess what the USA will do. Mainland China shows its power often. It sends many airplanes and ships close to Taiwan. These planes sometimes fly into the area near Taiwan's airspace. There are thousands of these flights each year now. This is like a warning or pressure from Beijing. China also does big army exercises near Taiwan. These actions make Taiwan worry. The world also worries about this problem. Taiwan makes many important things for computers, like chips. Many countries buy these chips from Taiwan. If there is a war, Taiwan cannot make chips. This would be a very big problem for the world's economy. Many countries want peace in the area. A war could be very bad and cost many lives and money. Neither side seems to want a war now. But the PRC says Taiwan must join, and Taiwan wants to stay separate. The USA's position is not fully clear. China's military is getting stronger. The worry about a conflict is still very real for Taiwan and for the world. 8. What happens next? The story of mainland China and Taiwan is not finished. It is a very hard situation today, and many people around the world ask, what happens next? Mainland China, the People's Republic of China, PRC, believes Taiwan is part of its country. The leaders in Beijing say that Taiwan must join the mainland. President Xi Jinping has said that joining together is something that must happen for China. They say they want peace, but they also say they will not stop using force if Taiwan does not agree to join willingly. This makes people in Taiwan very worried about their future and their safety. Taiwan, which is called the Republic of China, ROC, has its own way of life. It is a democracy where people have free votes. People in Taiwan vote for their leaders, like President Lai Ching-te. They have freedoms that people on the mainland do not have. Most people in Taiwan feel they are separate and want to keep their democracy and their own government. They do not want to be ruled by Beijing. They want peace, but are ready to protect their island if needed. This difference in ideas makes the situation dangerous. Mainland China often sends military planes and ships close to Taiwan's waters and airspace. This is a way to show strength and put pressure on Taiwan. Taiwan's military is training and getting ready to defend itself. Other countries, like the United States, are watching carefully. The U.S. government, under President Biden's administration, gives Taiwan help to buy weapons so it can defend itself better. But the U.S. policy is not totally clear if its soldiers will fight in a war for Taiwan. This is called strategic ambiguity. But why is there no big war now? A war between mainland China and Taiwan would be terrible. It would hurt the people in Taiwan very much. It would also hurt mainland China. And it would be very bad for the whole world. Taiwan makes important things like computer chips that the world needs for computers and phones. If fighting starts, global business could stop, causing big problems everywhere. This high cost of war helps keep a difficult peace for now. Neither side wants to start something so dangerous because the risks are too high. So, what will happen in the future? It is hard to know for sure. One possibility is that the situation stays mostly the same for a long time. This is called the status quo. There is no war, but no real peace or agreement either. Another possibility is that a small accident or mistake happens near Taiwan, like a plane getting too close. And it quickly becomes a big problem that nobody planned. Or maybe the leaders in China or Taiwan will change their plans for the future. Many people hope for a peaceful answer, but finding one is very difficult because the ideas on both sides are so different. The story of mainland China and Taiwan is like a puzzle with no easy answer. It continues to be a big question for the world. Everyone hopes for a safe future in this important part of the world. What do you think will happen next with mainland China and Taiwan?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.